Okay. Brutally cold out there. It's not very often that I get to say as a meteorologist that, in the span of over half a decade, this is the coldest air mass that we've seen. Picture, tells 1,000 stories, I suppose. And this one off to the west, if you actually look into the north, that's the direction our wind's coming from. Obviously, that's why it's so cold. But you can see the lake effect in the distance as well. With an Arctic air mass, the air is so dry, so inland areas, now that we have more of a northwest wind, inland areas such as Grand Rapids to the north, north, and east are actually enjoying some sunshine. Obviously not a warm sunshine, though. And look at how Grand River is really freezing over out there. I wouldn't be surprised next time we warm things up, at least above the freezing mark, that we're going to have some ice jam issues as the ice will continue to form right in through this upcoming week. Yeah, Grand Haven, it's out there somewhere. What a difference in cameras. You have Grand Rapids with the sunshine, but man, you get underneath that lake effect. Holy cow. Normally you can see the beach, or you can see the pier out there, the breakwater. That is not the case. And you can see those snow showers streaming on shore with a northwest to southeast fashion. So areas from Grand Rapids, east, northeast have the best chance of getting some sunshine today. And then towards Kalamazoo, west towards the lakeshore, upwards, that's where we're going to likely see another 1 to 3, maybe some isolated 4-inch amounts from here on out. Here's the visibility. It's down quite a bit. South Haven, as you saw, actually that was Grand Haven. Grand Haven's probably around 1/16 of a mile as far as I could tell. 1/8 mile Ludington, 1/8 a mile in South Haven. I was talking to my brother-in-law up in the Ludington area, and he said that they have 4 to 5 foot drifts at his house in Ludington, in his yard. Pretty impressive event. And so far this week, we've had a week straight, 7 consecutive days with measurable snow that have tallied up to 19.4 inches in Grand Rapids. This will likely be day number 8. I don't expect much more snow in the Grand Rapids area, but I'm sure we got some last night after midnight. But you can see along the lakeshore, that's who's going to receive the bulk of the snow. And that's why we have an advisory until 1 o'clock this afternoon. It does include Kent County, but again, I think most of our snow is done now in Grand Rapids, also in the Hastings area, and Wago probably won't see too much more. Here's the latest with the Futurecast. You can see how, again, that snow is going to kind of pivot towards the lakeshore. It already has reoriented itself in that direction. Notice the breaks in inland areas. Now, if those breaks can hold through tonight and we get the wind to go calm with this fresh snowpack on the ground, that is a fantastic setup for very cold temperatures. Quick one to get you updated on how much snow we've had. 54, almost 55 inches in Grand Rapids. We're now at a surplus over 10 inches. Last time I looked at the snow depth, we are about 9 inches in Grand Rapids and 13 in Muskegon. Pretty impressive amounts. 30 plus inches above average for this time of year in Muskegon as they approach 80 inches. And everybody pretty much throughout the state, if you're a snow lover, this is your winter so far. Marquette at over 150 inches, and it's over 100 inches. I noticed in many locations along in northwest lower Michigan, including the Gaylord area. Brutally cold out there. Let's check out those temperatures. And you'll be able to see readings already going below zero in the Grand Rapids area and throughout much of West Michigan. Now that we have achieved that, we're going to stay below zero, I believe, throughout the rest of the day as we feed off that cold off to the northwest and that northwest wind. As I'm talking, 56 below, feel like reading in Duluth. Are you kidding me? That's insane. It's 50 below in Wausau, 42 below. That's what it feels like in Green Bay. I got a buddy who lives over there. I should give him a call. 24, that's what it feels like in Grand Rapids. So we actually feel 25 degrees warmer in Duluth at a 24-degree wind chill temperature, or negative 24. Okay, current temperatures below zero, and there we go, closer in view of those wind chills. Now, the wind is going to start dying down. We've seen some wind gusts up around 30 miles an hour, but as that wind starts to subside a bit this afternoon, the wind chill temperatures will actually go up, I think, into the teens, negative teens, and then the temperatures plummet. Notice how the wind chills kind of vanish there. That's because the wind's expected to go calm tonight, and then once that happens, the temperatures are going to plummet. Okay, because of the cold air combination right through Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, we have cold air warning out there, and that is for wind chill temperatures 20 to 30 below, and the wind chill advisory or cold weather advisory areas to the south of Grand Rapids. All-time coldest temperatures. How did I get that? I thought I fixed that. High Island. Anyway, there's some of the coldest temperatures on record that we've ever had. And the forecast models earlier in the week actually had us eclipsing that. They no longer do. The coldest one I've seen is about 21 below tomorrow morning, but that's cold enough, just not to break the all-time record. If we do successfully hit 20 below zero or more, it would break a new record, which it currently stands for tomorrow's date at 19 degrees below zero. All right, let's take a broad view throughout the United States, because you're going to hear headlines throughout this weekend of a major storm. Fortunately, it's not going to impact Grand Rapids. We've had enough snow, but notice that area of low pressure in West Texas. Now, once it gets closer to the Gulf of Mexico, as they often do, they start extracting moisture from them, and look what happens. A massive storm. This storm is going to impact, basically it's going to be 2,000 miles from end to end, and it's going to impact Ohio River Valley, also into the Appalachians, and all the way down to the Red River Valley. Just a huge, impactful storm out there. We're talking about, could see ice, freezing rain of 1 to 2 inches, and then snow on the northern fringe of it, Indianapolis into Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Albany, and also all the way into New England, anywhere from a half a foot to upwards of well over a foot of snow in some locations. And on top of that, and I've talked about the cold, 33 states involved in some kind of cold warning or advisory out there, and you can see all the alerts. Almost 70% of the country will be impacted by this system. Now, for us, we may get sideswiped by it with just some snow, especially if you're Kalamazoo over towards Battle Creek, Detroit area on Sunday. And Grand Rapids, I think we'll miss out on most of it outside of a few flurries. I'm not expecting at this point any accumulation. If it shifts a little bit farther north, that could change. But the Arctic air is going to remain solidly in place throughout the week, and the warmest temperature in that 8-day forecast, remarkably, is only 18 degrees. So let's look ahead to see if we can pull out of this pattern. First week of February, well, it doesn't look like it. It won't be as cold as what we're experiencing now, but it looks like still colder than average temperatures. I would expect by later the first week of February and the second week, we'll start to at least get some milder temperatures in. That cold is probably front loaded towards the first portion of the dates there. And then precipitation looks kind of like a dry pattern out there. Touring the roads, I believe, is Cameron James. How's it look out there, Cam?
Yeah, George, well, we are thrilled to be in the warmth of the car this morning, but we've been driving dozens of miles all throughout West Michigan, keeping an eye on the road conditions. I'll give you a little look at the car here, and it's a little tough to see. We've had the defrosters working overtime, and anything that's not staying in reach of the defroster has got a pretty thick layer of frost built up. Now, the roads themselves, you can see some pavement, and that might be a promising sign, but the highway that we're on right now actually far more slick than the side roads and city roads that we started on. We're making our way back towards Grand Rapids now on 96. We were just out by the lakeshore where it was a near whiteout by Grand Haven, the state park, about as worst conditions as we've seen. The buildup of snow, and then of course the wind just blowing it all around the roads, and that's why when you combine it with the cold weather, very hazardous conditions. If you do head out today, you're going to want to make sure you've got an emergency kit in your car with warm clothes, a phone charger, and at least a half a tank of gas, just in order to make sure that you can stay warm should anything happen. We're going to be on the roads throughout the morning, keeping an eye on the conditions, but so far a pretty slow go this morning here on 96.
Okay, welcome back to Daybreak Plus. We want to talk about one of our very own who's been here longer than both of us for sure, and has earned a pretty big honor.
Yes, Maranda is being honored for her service in television. No one more deserving. And you know what I love about Maranda? I mean, her energy is always up.
The most consistently positive
Yes.
Person that I've ever met as well.
It's amazing.
So we invited her here into the Wood TV Plus studio to talk about this award this week. We have Maranda with us to talk about a really important, well-deserved honor, the Silver Circle Award.
For 25 years in
25.
TV. 25,
It's
right?
25 or more.
Or more.
I'm on the more.
You're on
I'm on the more side. Let's be honest. Yep.
So this award, though, I was looking at the request for nominations, and I'm like, I can't believe Maranda hasn't received this yet. And not everybody gets it. You nominate someone doesn't mean they get it. And you deserve this so much. You have done so much for this community. Let's go back to the beginning. And I think how a lot of people know you is from your park parties.
Well, yeah, let's go back to the very beginning. The very beginning was even before park parties, but park parties definitely, it was one of those things that just came out of a need. I was doing kids 24/7 at a TV station and always talking about all of these things like Cedar Point and big places where people can take their kids. And it really hit me that there are so many kids that don't leave their front porch. And what must it feel like to be that child who's saying, gosh, I'd love to go to something like that, but knowing they can't. And so that's where the idea came from. It was like, let's bring the party to the kids. So we would pick 5 to 6 communities where there were needs. I would work with the federal government to determine need based on school feeding programs. And if there were universal feeding sites, which means you don't even have to fill out paperwork, you just get a free meal, that's where we wanted to go. And the concept was everyone's invited, everything is free. And man, over the years, I mean, look at those crowds. I just get goosebumps looking at that because I just think over the years, we had the privilege to literally impact thousands and thousands of kids and families who are now adults who will come back and be like, oh yeah, that was a good one, right in the rain. We would do this event, rain or shine. And just the way to bring people together to celebrate family and to celebrate, it doesn't matter who you are welcome, you are loved, let's come in and be together. That's what those parties were all about. And I mean, you can look at this stuff. It's just fun to look at. And with COVID, we changed it up a bit, and now we've moved to park party recesses, partnering with local school districts for children in summer school. But the mission remains the same. Let's bring a party to the kids who need it.
Let's backtrack just even one more moment. How did you get started?
I actually studied at Hope College for theater, and then went to Cambridge University to study with the Royal Shakespearean Theater, and I thought that was my calling. At the time, I had friends in London who were like, come on over and help us do TV. They had a commercial to do, and I was like, there is no way I will ever do TV because I was a true theater actress. And I went over and did one TV commercial, and I'm like, I got like 20 takes on that one. And it just sort of became my thing. So from there, when I left England, went to Chicago and interned at WLS in entertainment and really loved that. And came back to West Michigan and worked as an assignment reporter in a newsroom. I think we all have had our turn there. But started then also on the side doing children's radio. And they were like, we need a morning person. And I'm like, Maranda, in the morning, that all works. And so it started in kids radio. And from there evolved into a cable show. And from cable went into a network show.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
It's quite a journey.
It's interesting to hear you talk about this focus on theater because one thing that has always struck me about you is just how genuine you are. You're not acting. None of this is acting for you. So the fact that you're able to be so genuine in this platform is really refreshing. How has that evolved for you over the years?
You know what I always think about, who's watching us on TV? You know, we could say, oh, Wood TV 650,000 households. I'm like, no way. It's one kid sitting on the couch eating a dish of ice cream, playing a video game in one hand and watching TV in another. It's a mom cooking. It's people running all over the house. And so the fact that I get to be one-on-one with people is the best part. So if you can't be you, if you can't be genuine, don't bother. People see through it.
What brings you the most joy each day?
Just community, being a part, connecting with people. Nothing brings me greater joy than seeing a need and figuring out how to solve that need. And the power of the medium we have the privilege of being a part of gives us that chance to step in and truly make a difference, whether it's sharing information, whether it's connecting people with resources, whether it's telling an unsung hero story. It's just giving voice to good.
You talked about when we had you on Daybreak in the main studio about your daughters and how they kind of inspired some of the work that you've done. I know Beautiful You is another campaign that's really important to you. Tell me about what inspired that specifically and what you saw your daughters going through.
I have two amazing, strong, powerful, inspiring daughters who are now, well, my youngest just turned 30. That's embarrassing. So at the time, that particular daughter was in 7th grade, and she came home and read me an essay she wrote and she wanted me to help her with it and just go through it. And I was reading this thing, and it was all about, do I need to use a self-tanner? Should I whiten my teeth? Do I look fat in this? All of these things. And I'm like, what are you doing? And as we were talking it through, and she's like, Mom, everybody feels all of this. And she's like, it's not easy being a girl in 7th grade. And I was like, you know what? I need to remind you who you are. I need to remind you what makes you special. And so I really started thinking about, we need to start a beauty boot camp for middle school girls exclusively. And I'm not talking hair and makeup. I'm talking inner beauty. What makes you radiate beauty? And so we brought together great partners, folks like Pine Rest and Helen DeVos Children's Hospital and Amway and Meyer and Priority. And they all came together and they were so supportive and just said, what do you think it's going to take? And I'm like, it's going to take a day long of one-on-one, 20-minute sessions, just working it, and letting girls discover who they truly are. So that's Beautiful You. And man, I get passionate about that one because I just think times have changed for the worst. Our girls sit on Instagram, Snapchat, you scroll, and you are reminded how uncool you are. And I'm here to say, put the phone down, look in the mirror, because girl, you got it going. You got it going.
You do a lot with mental health. How did that all come about?
You know, I mean, I think we've been having this conversation about mental health for 40 years, quite frankly, but I don't think we've ever branded it as we have now. But every conference that I did in the past 5 years that talk about the state of our child, working with Wedgwood, working with Pine Rest, we are seeing, since COVID, this escalation of kids using the terms, kids getting help, parents being at the end of the rope. I think it's just bubbled up, and it bubbled to a point where I just felt we have to do more. And I was sitting in a large group with folks from Celebration Cinema to the Grand Rapids Children's Museum to I Understand and Be Nice, and everybody's talking about what they're doing for mental health. And I thought, is anybody putting this all in one place? And that's where we came up with this idea of how's it really going? Let it be a digital warehouse, I love saying that, where we can collect everything that's happening in the community and also put some PSAs out into the community that just say, take a minute and ask your kid, how's it really going? Focus on like, let's sit down and talk about it, because it's easy to be like, hey, how's it going? Good, you too. Yeah, great, bye. And we do that with our friends, we do that with our spouses, with our partners, with our children, and it's like, pause and ask, really, how's it really going?
Well, Miranda, we're very happy for you for this honor. We're excited to be there at the celebration with you. Congratulations, this is so well deserved.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys and your ongoing support. Thank you.
Welcome back to Daybreak Plus on a super cold Friday. We're going to just go past the temperatures and get right into birthdays.
Let's do it.
Happy birthday to Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
52 years old. Saved by the Bell. What's the other one she was in? 90210.
90210.
That's right.
I always secretly watched that when I wasn't supposed to, and then when my dad would come down, I would do the last button on the remote. I'm like, oh, I'm just watching cartoons, Anyway.
He never figured it out, did he?
I'm sure he knew, and he just overlooked it.
Just overlooked it.
Also, happy birthday to Mariska Hargitay, another show I binge watched.
Law and Order.
SVU.
She's been there a long time.
And she still is.
Also, she was in the movie Leaving Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's done quite a few movies.
She's had quite a career.
Here's one from somebody who made headlines for what he did.
He's one of my heroes.
Well, as a New Yorker, I can see that.
Sully.
But a national hero,
yes.
too. Chesley Sully Sullenberger. He's 75.
Safely landed a U.S. Airways plane on the Hudson River after they had problems right after takeoff. That was memorable.
Navigating all those buildings, landing so that everyone could get out.
Everybody survived.
It was so cold. Yeah, that was incredible. And we have Richard Dean Anderson as well, 76 years old.
I was reading about him. I've forgotten he was on General Hospital.
That was another show I watched.
I didn't remember.
Every
I used
day
to
after
watch
school.
that too. I remember Luke and Laura. That's what I remember. That's how old I am.
Eventually, after years of watching that show, and you start to see them like change actors for characters, and all these wild things happen, I think I stopped watching.
You stopped.
On this day in Michigan history, the first Kalamazoo Gazette issue came out.
This is 1837. It was the state's second oldest newspaper. How about that?
And now we have MLive has taken over so many of the publications across the state. In 1963, on Martin Luther King Day, we talked about Malcolm X.
Yes.
Because there is a myth that they were natural rivals, which I think we dispelled that myth. Well, he spoke at MSU on this day in 1963.
And he did a question and answer session with the audience afterwards, and that recording is actually available at the library at Michigan State University to listen to.
Going to move over to a different university in Michigan, Michigan Tech. In 2014, on this day, it was voted as or ranked as the snowiest university in the country.
200 plus inches of snow each year.
We're having another snowy year.
Whoa, that's a lot of snow.
That is a lot of snow. We shouldn't be talking about snow right now when we're already in the Arctic.
We are in the middle of it.
Plunge. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? We're going to brighten things up a little bit, warm things up a little bit. Guess what it is?
What do we have?
It is National Pie Day.
Like the kind you eat.
The kind that you eat.
Okay.
Not the
314.
Yeah,
That's
not that
too
one.
early for that.
Too early. We wish. I did consider making a pie and bringing it in today for this, but I didn't have time.
So give me your favorites. You have some top ones?
I like an apple crisp pie.
Apple
a
crisp
pie, but with the crisp topping instead of the lattice topping. That's what I like to make them. Love to eat them. Little ice cream on top.
Sweet potato pie.
Oh, that's good.
Key lime pie.
Okay.
And I'll throw in traditional apple pie.
Cherry pie, is okay.
I have cherry pie every now and then. I'm not going to say no to it.
Yeah, but you're not gonna
I
go
won't
in
go out of
search
my
of
way.
it.
Right.
Now I just want pie.
I know. Now you're making me hungry.
Thinking about what if you could go get a pie right now, which one would it be?
Probably sweet potato pie is number one for me.
I think like that sounds warming. That sounds comforting.
And you can have a
when it's
little
this
scoop
cold.
of vanilla ice cream with that too. That
I
would
might
work.
skip the ice cream today,
Yeah.
but that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Daybreak Plus again. Stay warm.
Yes. You be careful out there. Stay safe as well.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday here in the Wood TV Plus studio.